Good morning, everybody. Happy August. Can you believe we are in August? Well, as promised at God, I look very shiny. I'm very shiny today. It's only because it's about 800% humidity where I am today. Good morning. Thank you for putting up with my shininess. Maybe it's like shiny, happy people holding hands, right? All right. I am pulling an angel card. As you guys come in, please say hello. Oh my gosh. What a morning. I got to tell you, I've had so much fun this summer and so much not fun. Oh, please tell me I'm not the only one. I talked about this in July about experiencing burnout and that feeling of like, ugh, and I know so many people had it. So today we're going to talk about how we make serious change without having to do too much. I know. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm so sick of working so hard, right? You guys done with this? Did you guys catch the podcast episode? This last podcast episode was stop trying to push water uphill. It's not fun. I don't recommend it. We are in the middle of a massive thunderstorm right now. So if you hear banging, it's the thunder, not me. All right. So I'm going to pull us a card for today as we talk about how to make serious change with just two things. Oh, get out of town. You guys, I love it. What? Hi, Kate. I haven't seen you in a little bit of a hot second. Welcome. So happy you're here with Coffee with Coach. You guys, I don't think I've ever pulled this card ever. All right, you ready? Here we go. Today we're talking about making serious change. Oh, come on, focus. There you go. Steady progress, people. Come on, steady progress. Yeah. We acknowledge you for the progress you've made in remembering love in your daily activities. I swear to God, I don't rig these. We can clearly see the contribution you're making to the world through your thoughts, feelings, and actions of love. Well, hang on to your hats and glasses because seriously, I could not have pulled a better card. Yay! This is when you know I'm not in control. It just all happens. All right. So here's what I've really been studying. So in the Abundance Academy, we are really working on massive change, massive progress. And we're doing this in a very, very small way, which I'm super excited about. And the results have been amazing for me personally, for all of the students in the Abundance Academy. It's just been wonderful. I'm also doing it with clients. And I've been doing it with my children because you guys know I love to actually experience things before I teach them to you. So here's what I've come to understand. If you have been feeling burned out, raise your hand. I know I'm not the only one. We're all feeling a little bit fried. Yeah. It's a really strange feeling. And before we just keep throwing around the word burnout, I want to define it because I don't think enough people do that. We just throw it around like, oh, I'm so burned out. Feeling truly burned out is not something that can be fixed in a weekend away. It's not something that will even be sort of course corrected after a week vacation, right? We've all seen this happen. Like maybe you've experienced it yourself. You come back, you're like, I think I need another 3 weeks. It's like, that wasn't quite enough. You can sort of have that feeling. And that's because burnout isn't just fatigue. It's not just, I've been pushing really hard, I need a break. It's actually being in survival mode for far too long. And that's another term that's thrown out a lot. But survival mode is that feeling of like an underlying panic, an underlying anxiety. I've described it before in other Coffees with Coach. When we were going live during like the pandemic every day, I would say that the anxiety, I love this analogy and people go, oh, I get it. It's like having the air conditioners on in New York City, right? There's like this low level hum all the time in the summer until someone turns it off. And it's almost like you lose your step for a second and you didn't realize how annoying it was until it was gone. Yeah. So that is that low level anxiety, that low level just pressure. And it causes us, as you know, like we all throw around the words cortisol, right? We throw around the word stress. But because our bodies are designed to do the fight or flight or freeze situations, right? Our body's actually designed to do that, but we don't have anywhere to go now. And I know people are talking about this, but you need to understand for you what that actually feels like. I don't want to talk about this in abstracts. I don't want to talk about this in like some great idea. I want you to actually understand how you're feeling. For most of us, I know for me, I'll feel it in my chest. My chest kind of gets tight and I feel like I have to pull back. Other people are getting tension headaches. And maybe you feel like you just can't sleep enough or you're having trouble sleeping. Those are signs that your body's actually in survival mode. Okay. And part of the issue here right? We all know it's the 24/7 cycle that we're all involved in, social media, news, friends, everybody expecting you to answer all the time, those sorts of things. And we've all gotten much better at putting up those boundaries. So I'm going to encourage you to continue to do that. But it's also about deciding what you will and will not do, which brings us to today's headline. Ta-da! All right, so here's the deal with today's headline. There are really only two habits you need to worry about. Two. There's two habits you need to worry about. And this is it, you guys. This is it. You're gonna relax around your burnout. And you're also going to start to make serious change if you actually take this on. This is very tangible coaching today. I want you to be able to watch today's video, feel different, start to know that you can actually make a massive impact in how you're feeling on the daily, starting right this second. Like literally for free right now. It's not going to cost you anything to do this. You can do it right away. Yeah. So if you are with me, hi, Peggy. So happy to see you. Hey, Alex. What's up, girl? All right. So what I'd love you to do right now is grab a journal. I know you're shocked. I always say that to you guys, right? But here's the thing. There are two things that you need to worry about. There's two habits that we all have. You ready? Okay. Habit number one, all the things you're doing. You have a habit of doing certain things. True or true? You have a habit of doing things every day. Do you like wake up and turn on the news? Do you wake up and grab your phone? Do you wake up and go to the gym? Do you wake up and like stumble into your kitchen and have a coffee, right? Do you have a glass of water waiting for you when you get into the kitchen? In the afternoon, before you get up and leave your desk, do you have a habit of writing down what needs to be done the next day? Do you have a habit of leaving your desk a mess and just running away because it's too much? Got it, right? Totally get that. Been there, right? Like we have that habit, right? Like I want you to think about all the things you're doing without thinking. And not that that's a bad thing. We need some things to be habits, right? We can't be thinking about everything all the time because no, thank you, right? We need some things to be automatic and ready to go. So I want you to think about those. Can you write down for me right now 5 things you do without thinking on the daily? Go ahead and write those out right now. What is up, Kim? So good to see you today. I might be spying on your desk, but don't tell. I love when people say that to me. How do you know? Because I love you. That's how I know. What are 5 habits you have on the daily that you just do right now? Okay. I'll give you guys one more second. Okay. The other habit, I sort of tricked you. There's 2 habits, right? One, the things you're doing. So it could be 5 things. And you know what this one's going to be, right? Please tell me you know. The things you are not doing. This is the other habit you need to be noticing. You need to be focused on. And it's not hard. It's not hard. I want to be really clear about that. I am lifting up all the pressure that we put on ourselves every day. I don't want you to feel like when you look at this list, these are things that like, oh my God, I'm such a bad person. I haven't been doing this. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? No, you know, there are tiny, tiny things you could be doing on the daily that you're probably not doing that aren't that hard. We're just not used to doing them. Yeah. Can you write down 5 of those? So maybe it's looking at your bank account every day. That takes 30 seconds. It's a heck of a lot better than picking up social media. Because you know where all your money is. That most powerful tool we have access to, you'll know where it is. That's so amazing. Even if you don't love what you see, right? It doesn't matter. At least you know. And then you can start to make better decisions. You can start to create new habits around that as well. Maybe one of the things you're not doing is going to bed when you're actually tired. Maybe you're letting that blue screen stay in your eyeballs. you're like flipping through it. You're like, I really should go to bed, right? But you're not putting it down. That's a habit. That's something you're not doing. You're not putting the phone down. Is this making sense? None of these should be hard. I'm not saying I need you to get up and run 5 miles every day and only eat salads. It's not what we're talking about at all. We are talking about the tiny, tiny things you can do on the daily to make massive change. You cannot make a serious change in your life without changing what you do every day. It's not possible. And as humans, we have this crazy, it's the equivalent of like, can you just give me the fat loss pill? Right? It's that same idea. Or like, can I just win the lottery? Like we want these big, fast, huge, sweeping changes really like in an instant, please, thanks. Right? Like that's it. No more things for me. Thank you. Right? Like that's really how we want to operate. And it's just not how it goes, which is why I'm going back to the angel card I pulled. For those of you that came on later, I cannot believe that this is the card I pulled. Steady progress. Is that wild? I swear to God, I didn't rig it. Anyway, but that's the idea is on the daily, if you make small changes, amazing things can happen. And where I'd really like to focus with most of us today, if we can, you may have a project you're working on and you know on the daily, there's maybe one thing that you're not doing that you could be doing, or there's one thing you're doing that's getting in the way. So you could kind of narrow that down a little. Yeah. And so maybe the one thing you're doing that's getting in the way is you are staying on your phone too long, right? So we could call that a habit that you are doing that you can stop doing. Is this making sense? So as we look at just now, I'd like you to look at everything you're doing, the habits that you're doing automatically, and the things you're not doing that you know could make a huge difference, right? This is it, just these two. That's it. So I want you to look at what you wrote. And I want you to see, is there anything in the habit list of things you're doing that you need to stop doing? That is so cool. You guys, I just lightened your load. Stop doing something. I know what coach says that. Hey, stop doing stuff. What? Oh my God, I know. I just gave you permission to do less. You're welcome. Yeah. Okay. So what can you stop doing? Pick two things right now. Pick two things right now that you can stop doing. And then I want you to look at the things you aren't doing and pick two that you can start doing. So we're swapping. You're still even. There's no extra work here. Things you're going to stop doing and two things you're going to start doing. Go ahead and check that out. Oh, The Slight Edge, Alex. It's such a great book, isn't it? Oh my God. We'll have to put a link in the notes to The Slight Edge under this video. It is one of my all-time favorite books. And it's so funny because it sounds like it's such a broy, like The Slight Edge. And it's not. It's like so gentle and loving and amazing and brilliant. One of my absolute favorites. I like to read it every 6 to 9 months again, just to sort of reincorporate it. But yeah, so good. And I'm glad it's making you think, Alex. It's such a, I don't know, it's just so motivating. It's awesome. And again, doesn't feel hard. So good. All right. So two things you're going to stop doing, two things you're going to start doing, right? You guys, if you do these 4 things, your life will change dramatically. Over the weekend, my girlfriends and I have a huge, text chat. There's 5 of us that are really close. And one of us has decided to stop drinking, right? And she was sharing, she's like, oh my God, it's been 30 days. And it's amazing. She's like, I've made this massive sweeping change. And all I had to do was stop doing one thing. Massive change, health changes, feeling changes, clarity changes. It actually even gave her the courage to make a career change, like amazing. I stopped doing one thing. Isn't that incredible? You guys, that really is all it is. Don't be fooled. Now, as a coach, it's my job to help you change human behavior. I know I'm successful as a coach if I can have things change for you in your life, right? That's a marker of a successful coach. That's a marker of a coach that knows what they're doing, right? So help me out here. And like, if you could stop doing 2 things and start doing 2 new things, you're going to be blown away. Like, just imagine what it would look like 30 days from now. Imagine what it'll look like 2 weeks from now if you just stop doing 2 things and start doing 2 things. Yeah. So one of the places I really want to focus on over the next little bit, sorry, I started saying this earlier, I get distracted, is money, right? So those, you guys know that my motto is we put more money in the hands of more women. And what I think is so important about this is it's not the money, as you know, it's the power that comes with the money, right? The ability to invest in things that matter to you. I always say, if you're worried about the environment, don't hug a tree, get enough to buy the forest, and then you can decide what happens. Like that's the idea. I'm not saying actually do that, but you know what I mean? That's the idea. Like, let's start being involved in this conversation. And for now, it's money. It might change in the future, but right now it's money. And so we don't need to get attached to the method of it. We just want to understand how it works and make sure we're using it to the best of our ability. I hope that makes sense. So if you were to look at your bank account now, if you were to look at where maybe there's credit card debt, what your mortgage is, what your overall net worth is, and I hate the word worth. I wish we could come up net balance. Let's call it that, right? Your worth is not labelable. We cannot, you're a human, you're priceless, right? There is no worth there. You are born, you're breathing, you are of worth, period. Right? But if we were to attach a balance to that, right, it just helps you understand where you are. And if we take a second without any judgment and we look at that and we start to bring it forward, what is your net balance right now? What is that? It's a result. And it's a result of things you are doing and of things you're not doing. And that's it. That's why I say there's no emotion attached here. We don't have to get upset or angry at ourselves. It's just like looking at whether or not you leave your desk messy or you clean it up. Do you leave a glass of water for yourself in the morning or don't you? Right? Do you close out your computer when you say you will or don't you? Right? These little tiny things that you're doing every day, they make such a profound difference over time. And that's actually what the slight edge is about. Yeah, Alex, is like everybody has the same amount of time. But every time you make a decision down your path that isn't where you want to go, it has a lasting impact. Just like every time you make a decision where you do want to go, that also has a lasting impact. But if you keep going back and forth, you're going to go exactly where you've already been. This making sense? You're going to go a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, right? And so you really have to be clear on one, where you want to go, and which actions or habits are going to not help you get there, and which actions or habits will help you get there. That is like the mystery of life. That's it. I hate to break it down and make it that simple, you guys, but that's it. Now, applying that on the daily is actually where some of the challenge comes in, right? Because in looking at what you can stop doing or start doing, what do you think happens in our beautiful brains? Right? All of us who want to win the lottery or just take a pill to be healthy or all these things, right? What's actually going to happen? You're going to say it doesn't matter. It's just one time. That's what we do. And the hardest part in all of this, I've said this before, but I think here in August, it's really important we talk about this, because you are going to start to feel in about 10 days, maybe even 7, you're going to start to feel the end of the year push. It's going to happen. So let's get you prepared now. So it's nice and simple, nice and smooth, because your heart rate just went up, didn't it? I felt that, right? No. Keep it nice and smooth. Stay with me. In the moment when you have the opportunity to do something that will get you closer to what you want, or to do something that will take you further away, the issue in that moment is you don't see the change. You don't see the result the second you make the decision. Do you know what I'm saying? I love to say, like, if you had a cheeseburger, you don't have a heart attack the second you're done with a cheeseburger, right? Remember that one time you had a cinnamon roll and gained 10 pounds? No, that's not how it works, right? You don't see the immediate result. So we don't like that, right? The reason we have dopamine in our brains, you probably heard about dopamine. Dopamine is the like accomplishment drug that's in our system. I call it a drug. It's a hormone, right? But it's a drug. And it was invented by our bodies so that we would consistently do hard things, but we need that immediate reward. So dopamine gets released when you're shopping and you find what you were looking for. You go, there it is, flooded with dopamine. It's what happens when you, maybe you're on a run or a long walk and you're like, I'm going to walk till that light post. You hit the light post, flood of dopamine. Right? That's how that happens. And we get addicted to it. It's why people play those video games, right? Like, I forget what they're called, like Bejeweled, or the ones where you like do matching things. You're just flooding your brain with dopamine, the little red circles on your phone that you should have turned off so they don't exist. Okay. Yeah. Those dopamine, right? All of that. And so we're running on that. And that was designed in our bodies, just like the fight or flight was designed to keep us safe. The dopamine is in there to help us accomplish things. So when we would plow the field, we could look over it and see it was done. Full day of work. And now we don't get that, right? You can answer 50 emails and still feel like it's not enough, right? You don't get that finished dopamine hit. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't like that. And that's where the survival mode starts to kick in. I'm not doing enough. I never do enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. So what we want to start to do, one of the things I could encourage you to start doing is create your own dopamine rushes. Create your own dopamine hits. Start writing things out. I will answer 10 emails. And when you do that, check it off or cross it out. That action with your hand sounds crazy. It will give you a release of dopamine, and that will start to pull down the stress you've been feeling. Right? So we can start to do that as we head into the season that's coming, right? Because all of us who own businesses, we know what's about to come, right? This is when most of the money gets made, is in these last 3-4 months of the year. You want to be prepared for that in a way that works for you. We don't want you going into that already burned out. That's crazy. We need to lower the cortisol and increase the dopamine in a way that works for you. So, in that moment, when you're like, oh, should I have, let me make something, should I have another ice cream or should I go for a walk? Right? Like, right. But in the moment, does it feel like that big of a deal? It really doesn't, right? You're like, whatever, F it. Let's turn on the TV and eat some ice cream. What I'd love for you to do, if there's something you need to start doing, stop doing, I'm just using this as an example, is write down, go for a walk after dinner. So you have it and then cross it off. Now you've got a dopamine hit and you still won't see the change immediately, right? But over 10 days, you will. Over 2 weeks, you will. You do that for 90 days, you're going to see a massive difference, right? But you've got to be able to work with our system the way it's designed and pull those levers as you need them so that you can make massive change and have sweeping success. All right. I hope that's making sense, you guys. All right. Let me know how you guys are feeling about this. You guys are being quiet today. Yeah, Kim, you're trying to do another activity. Yeah, trying to do something else. That's right. Also replacing something. That's what I'm saying. What can you stop doing and what can you start doing? So start swapping those out. Yeah. So stop eating the ice cream, start walking. You see what I'm saying? Like these are the tiny changes, you guys. I don't want you to be stressed. I think we have enough of that going on. We don't need more on you. We need to lift some off and we need to start rewarding you for all of the work that you're doing. And we need to reward it in a way that our bodies understand. Because the fatigue you're hearing about, the burnout you're hearing about, that's physiological what's happening, right? We need to be able to work with our bodies so that our minds can function well. And then we can create the work and the life and the habits that we actually want. Yeah? All right, cool. Awesome. It's a tie. Yes, that's right. That's right, Kim. We got to make it a tie. Yeah. So I want you to pick two while you're looking at the things you're going to stop doing and start doing. Kate, you've had enough of survival mode. It's exhausting. You just want to do it. I'm with you, Kate. I'm done. I declared that actually my poor team. I'm like, I'm done. We're not doing stress anymore. I just won't do it anymore. No, no, no. We'll do organized. We'll do actions, no stress. And the second we start to feel stress, what I'd love for you to do, Kate, I'm so glad you said this because I do want to lift stress off of people right now. It's ridiculous how stressed out everybody is. And for what? What are we doing that we're all so stressed out about? Just be in your life, right? Love your people. Take it one step at a time. That's all we can do. Those of you who haven't listened, I really want to encourage you. I'll put a link to this in the notes under this video. Once I'm done going live, we will put in the podcast episode we released last Tuesday, just about stop pushing water uphill, where it really is like enough. And what we want to understand is that as we stop doing certain things and we start doing others is over time, we know that'll make a big difference. But the other thing that happens is all we have to do is the next step. This is what's so beautiful about this is you don't have to, the stress comes, right? When you're like, oh my God, I need to be over here, but I'm over here. And you start freaking out and you put all this pressure on yourself to move immediately. Well, what if we lift that? What if all you need to worry about is your next decision? And that's it. And then you let the results take care of themselves. And then you worry about the next decision. And that's it. That's how we get out of survival mode. That's how we start enjoying our lives again. And one of the things, Kate, if you just want to enjoy your life, is you want to be crystal clear on what habits are causing joy for you and which habits are not, right? So we can stop doing the things that are causing you stress and start doing more of the things that actually bring you joy. And I think so often we're so busy doing so many things, we don't actually have this conversation. Like what actually does make you happy? What brings you joy? Like what makes you go, oh, like I always joke around. For me, it's cleaning. I could clean all. I love it so much. And I think it's because I get flooded with dopamine. I can see the result immediately, right? I love it. So I'm going to do more of that's going to bring me joy. I can't do it all day, every day. And I only like to clean my stuff. No one else's, right? But it's like, I can't do that every day, all day, but I can put in a little bit more of it. So it's like a reward for sending the 50 emails or whatever we decide it is would be to like go up and I get to go fluff pillows or something, right? Like you get to make up your own, but we want to start rewarding what we're doing because we're doing so much that we don't like lift our heads for a hot second and go, wow, I'm kicking some assets over here. Yeah. Really great, Kate. Love it. Love it. Yeah. So let's lighten up for August, okay? And remember, because this is the time that we can start to make a lot of money for our businesses towards the end of the year. This is when people sort of get organized. It's a great time to sort of review. Those of you that are interested in joining the Abundance Academy, we're having an unbelievable retreat November 3rd. So you're going to have to join us before then, right? Where we're just going to look back on the whole year. What do we want to do? Where do we need to assess? How can we add more joy? How can we add more love? How can we add more vitality, more abundance, right? So you're going to be doing all of that towards the end of this year. But what I'd love for you to focus on is money. Okay. Just look at it. And again, no stress, no stress. But where are you adding stress through habits? Everybody's talking about subscriptions, right? Do you know where all your money's going every month? And I don't say that as a judgment. Most of us don't. We're all so busy, right? It's just like we don't stop and assess which activities make us happy and which ones make us feel stressed. All you have to do is just sort of take a second, like, God, I don't know. And I love my money so much. It does so many wonderful things for me. Where is it going? And just checking. And the other thing I love to do, we did this during the pandemic. I do want to bring it back, is if you grab your credit card statement and look at where your money's going, that will tell you what your values are right now. So is it looking good? I love me some clothes. I have a jewelry problem. I have a ring problem. This is my grandmother's ring, but I love rings. Anyway, problems, love it. Don't need any more though, right? I'm good. That's the law of abundance. I have so many. If I recognize that I have so many, right? So that's a habit I have now, is look how much. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So you want to start creating something new. That's the something new I put in, was I'm going to appreciate what I already have, and then I don't have to buy more. Amazing, right? And I know what my values are. I love jewelry. Awesome. Okay, fine. Right. So you want to look at your statement and notice where you're sending your money, because money never lies. Money will always tell you where you're putting your love and energy out into the world. And that's really, in my view, what money is, right? Is it's this source of joy and love and energy that you're putting out into the world. So where's it going? What do you value? I mean, I do. Apple TV will be on my credit card forever, right? Because I love TV. I love dialogue. I love scripts. I love the whole thing. I love it. It's such a beautiful thing for me. Probably because my stepmother was a screenwriter and my father ran the Writers Guild for 13 years. I have an appreciation for it for sure, but I love it. It brings me joy. It brings me happiness. And it's scheduled. I don't just sit down for 6 hours, right? Like, I know when it's happening. Why? Because I know if I were to do that, I wouldn't be doing all the other things that bring me joy, and I wouldn't be moving my projects forward, and I wouldn't be moving me forward as a human. But when I love it and it's scheduled, it's planned, it's such a joy, right? And then I'm flooded with dopamine, and then I get up and do what's next. And that's how we lighten stress. Only what's next. Yeah. So when you look at your credit card statement, see where your money's going, and you get to choose now. Oh, I'm going to stop spending it there, and I'm going to start doing this instead. Awesome. Fantastic. And over time, that's going to be a massive shift in your overall wealth, financial wealth. Yeah. Okay. All right. Kate says she's working on creating her own subscription box right now. I've pushed it back 3 times, determined to get it launched by the end of this month. That's awesome, Kate. So what you want to do is just look at what you can start doing and what you need to stop doing to get that thing out in time. That's great. September is a beautiful time to launch a subscription box. It's great. You've been more choosy in what you're subscribing to each month, and it's freeing to know where your money's going. Isn't it? It's such a joy to take care of money. It really is. And I don't mean like, I'm not like an investor trading stocks and stuff. I have people managing money, but like, I love looking at those balances and being like, wow, look at what we're doing in the world. Look at what's happening. It's so exciting. And it also, look, in our day and age, right, we need money for security. We need it to feel like we have a strong foundation. And so as you look at your money, just ask yourself, if I were to save, start small, I don't care, an extra $50 a month, how would that feel? An extra 500. Some people are like, they look at it, they're like, oh my God, if I stopped my subscriptions, I could put $1,000 in my savings account every month. Wow, that's amazing. Just start to notice, what little tiny changes can you make to make yourself feel fulfilled and happy and filled with joy, and watch massive change start to take place in your life. All right, you guys, I love you to bits. Thank you so much for joining me for August's Coffee with Coach. Time to get ready for the holidays as business owners. If you have questions, put them below. Once this video is out, I'll be happy to come back and answer your questions and talk about anything you need to talk about to have the most successful, stress-free holiday season. I love you guys to bits. I will see you in September. Bye.